Hey there, future flower shop gurus. So you're thinking about a career surrounded by blossoms and botanical beauty?
Sounds like a dream job,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you've come to the right place.
That's right.
Today's deep dive takes us into the world of flower and garden shop management. We've got 3 whole RoleCatcher articles jam-packed with insights to help you figure out if this is the career path for you. You want to sow your seeds in this career path, right?
And it's not just about stopping to smell the roses.
Although I'm sure there will be plenty of that.
Oh, absolutely. But what I think is really interesting here is how you need to blend creativity with business smarts to make a shop really thrive.
Okay, so it's more than just a pretty space. Give us the lowdown. What exactly do these managers do all day?
How do I put this? They're like the conductors of a floral orchestra.
Oh, I like that.
They're responsible for everything. Managing staff, inventory, making sure the sales are good,
Right.
making sure the cash register's singing a happy tune. But it's more than that.
Sure.
Imagine having to balance, the art of floral design and connecting with your customers with the less glamorous stuff like budgets and marketing, and of course making sure the shop is profitable.
Yeah.
It really is a dynamic dance.
A dynamic dance, huh?
Yeah.
You've piqued my interest. RoleCatcher uses this term driving force to describe these managers. What does that actually look like day to day?
So think of it this way.
Mm.
A flower shop manager makes sure everything runs smoothly.
Okay.
The whole operation. They're like the captain of the ship. They train and supervise staff. They handle all that inventory, sales, customer service, and they keep an eye on the financials too.
Wow.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg.
So it's not all sunshine and roses then?
Well, not always. RoleCatcher definitely doesn't sugarcoat things. They point out how demanding the work can be, especially during peak seasons.
Yeah, I bet.
Think Valentine's Day or Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
Pure floral frenzy.
I can only imagine.
In fact, RoleCatcher found that like 60% of flower shop managers work more than 10 hours a day during those really busy times.
Wow.
Yeah, one shop owner even said that Mother's Day weekend felt like running a marathon.
Wow, I hadn't even considered the physical demands.
Oh, it's definitely a job that requires some stamina. You're on your feet for hours, often lifting heavy things, pots and bags of soil, buckets of water. Plus, you're constantly interacting with people, staff, customers, vendors. So having strong communication skills and being good with people is a must.
It sounds like you need the energy of a hummingbird and the patience of a cactus. What else did RoleCatcher find out about the day-to-day?
One thing that really stood out was the growing role of technology.
Really?
Inventory management systems, online customer service, you name it, even social media marketing.
Wow.
It's this fascinating blend of traditional and modern.
It's like a digital rose blooming right alongside the real ones.
Exactly. To really make it in this field, you have to be comfortable in both worlds. The fragrant world of flowers and the ever-evolving world of technology.
So we've got a good sense of the daily grind, but what about the bigger picture? How is the industry looking overall for anyone who's dreaming of opening a flower shop?
That's a really important question.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher actually had some interesting insights on that. So overall, the employment outlook is positive, which is good news.
That is good news.
Yeah, but there are some challenges coming up.
Challenges like what?
Well, there's those huge retailers, like grocery stores and those online giants. They're starting to dominate the market.
Makes sense.
They could offer those lower prices that are really hard for a small shop to compete with.
Right. So how can a flower shop, especially a small one, stand out against competition like that?
That's a tough one. But RoleCatcher had some ideas on that. One thing they pointed out was this whole trend of experiential travel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it seems like people, especially younger people, are looking for unique experiences, local things. They don't just want to buy something. They want to, feel something too.
I totally get that. So how does that work with a flower shop?
It's about creating a destination,
Okay.
not just a store.
I see, I see.
So think workshops or classes, maybe even working with local businesses to do events. It's about showing what makes your shop unique.
Yeah.
Your shop's style, your story, how you connect to the community, that kind of thing.
So a flower shop manager can't just arrange pretty bouquets. They've got to be creative, innovative. It's like they're always putting on a show.
Exactly. And that actually leads into another important thing that RoleCatcher talked about, the pros and cons of this career.
Let's hear about that.
It's not always easy, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it can be super rewarding too.
So what are some of the best parts of this job?
Well, first of all, you're surrounded by beauty all day.
Always a plus.
You work with nature's masterpieces, making gorgeous arrangements, and you're helping people express themselves through flowers.
Oh, that's really special.
There's a real joy in that.
For sure. And I bet for someone who's passionate about plants and design, having that creative outlet is amazing. What else?
RoleCatcher also mentioned the connections you make in this job. You're not just selling something, you're helping people celebrate big moments. Birthdays, weddings, anniversaries. You're part of those memories.
Wow, that's really special.
And don't forget about the potential to run your own business one day.
Oh, yeah?
Many flower shop managers want to open up their own shops eventually, and that offers so much freedom and flexibility.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about the roses. What about the thorns? What are some of the tough things someone should be ready for?
Well, we already mentioned that it's physically demanding. You're on your feet a lot, you lift heavy things, and there's a lot of pressure during the busy seasons.
Yeah, those peak seasons sound pretty crazy.
They really take a lot of stamina. And on top of that, the income can be hard to predict, especially for someone who's just starting out or if you're running your own business.
Yeah.
And you're always dealing with perishable items,
Yeah.
which is another challenge to manage.
So you really need to be passionate about this work to do well.
Exactly. It has to be a labor of love. Speaking of growing and thriving, RoleCatcher had a really good breakdown of the career paths in this field.
Oh, like how a flower blooms.
Exactly.
From a tiny bud to a gorgeous flower.
You got it. Usually you start with an entry-level job like a sales associate. That's where you learn everything. Customer service, the basics of floral design, how to care for plants.
So if you're just starting out, that's a good way to test it out. See if you like the work. What comes after that? So if
Yeah.
you're just starting out, that's a good way to test it out. See if you like the work. What comes after that?
Well, from there you could become like an assistant manager
Uh-huh.
and start taking on more responsibility.
Yeah.
You'd be training new staff, managing inventory, even doing some of the finances.
So you're starting to learn how the whole shop works.
Exactly.
That's cool. Where do you go from there?
If you're ambitious
Yeah.
and you really want to be in charge, the next step would be shop manager.
Okay.
That's where you're really calling the shots. Managing the whole team, overseeing everything that happens day to day, making sure the shop makes money.
That's going to feel pretty good. Seeing everything come together like that. What about for someone who wants to move up even further? Can you do that in this industry?
Oh, for sure. If you're a great shop manager and you're a natural leader, you could move up to become a regional manager,
Okay.
overseeing a bunch of different shops in an area.
Wow, multiple shops.
Yeah. You could even end up running the whole show as the director of retail operations for a company.
So there's definitely room for growth in this career.
Absolutely.
But it's not all about climbing that ladder, right? What else did RoleCatcher say about how to stand out?
One thing they really stressed was never stop learning.
Okay.
The flower industry changes so fast. There are always new trends, new ways of doing things, new types of flowers. So even if you just go to workshops, get certified in floral design, keep up with what's new in the industry,
Yeah.
it all shows how passionate and knowledgeable you are.
Makes sense. And speaking of gaining new skills, I really like how RoleCatcher gives you all those tools for job interviews.
Oh yeah, they're super helpful.
Yeah.
They have tons of practice questions
Right.
all about this specific job.
Wow.
Think of it as a test run before the big day. Plus, they tell you what the interviewers will be looking for, the common mistakes people make.
Yeah.
They even have AI that can give you feedback so you can improve your answers.
That's amazing. It's like having a secret weapon.
Right.
So for anyone listening who's feeling totally inspired to become a florist, what should they do next?
Well, I'd say don't just be inspired. Take action.
I love that.
Dive into those resources that RoleCatcher has.
Yeah.
Maybe go check out some local flower shops, talk to people in the industry.
Good idea.
And most importantly, never stop learning and growing.
That's fantastic advice. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be the one creating incredible floral designs and sharing your passion with your community.
Now, that's something to look forward to.
This was great. It sounds like being a flower and garden shop manager is challenging, but also really rewarding, especially if you love flowers and connecting with people.
Absolutely.
For sure. Thanks so much for breaking it all down for us.
Of course, it was my pleasure.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on today's deep dive. Until next time.